My name is K-Tool Patel. I'm pretty much the sub-in for Robert McGoy. He actually produced this presentation, and I was the lucky one who got handed this presentation on Friday. So don't scare me across the wall. I'm going to be giving this presentation about marketing and how SolidWorks tools can actually be used to create your marketing material. That's going to be the outline of what I'm going to be talking about. Just as a show of hands, how many of you guys actually create marketing material? And what tools do you currently use to actually create that right now? Just as a Adobe tools, SolidWorks. All right. No Adobe tools whatsoever. All right. PowerPoint. All right. Great. Anyone use 3D Via or one? Okay. Who doesn't know what 3D Via is? Oh, good. All right. So I'm going to be talking about how to use SolidWorks tools to actually create some of the information. So what does marketing do? That's just one of the topics that we need to get discussed so we can understand. Our part, what as CAD engineers, what is our part? How can we get information to the marketing arm of our company? And then the questions that we need to ask. So what is it that you need? Do you need 3D images? Do you need 2D images? What can I get you, really? And then, and what time? A time frame. So I'll go over those questions a little bit later. And what tools do we need to use? And that's kind of our decision. What can we use? What is at our disposal to get the marketing arm the information that they actually need? So you'll ask 100 people, what is marketing? What does marketing do? They'll give you several different reasons. All of them are correct. Some of them will say, we need to get our brand out, branding our product. We want to make sure that it's getting leads so that our sales reps can actually get their job done and make us money. And then there's what Wikipedia actually says, and I think this kind of hits it on the arm. It says, marketing is the process of communicating the value of our products and services to our customers. I think that kind of hits it right on the money here. So that is what marketing does. And it's our goal as CAD engineers or CAD designers and engineers to get the information that they need. So another thing is that your information that you send to your marketing arm or whatever your literature or your deliverables your marketing arm creates has to be different. You know, how many emails do you really go through on a daily basis? So let's say 50 emails from your customers and other prospects, and then some of your own emails, and then all you do is you go through that list and you just hit delete if it's not important to you, right? You don't have to wait, you know, you can answer back. You don't have to look like you're waiting for the bus. All right? So your emails have to stand out. If they don't stand out, like this clown here, we call him Robert McGoy. He's the guy who produced this presentation. Basically, it has to stand out. The person would have to want to see the email or whatever deliverable that you send them, and then they would want to have to actually read through it. That's the next step, right? And when they do start reading through it, it's our job as the marketing arm to figure out what they need to know, what information that we want to portray here. We don't want to give them too much information. That'll just kill them. They'll get bored. And I'm sure that some of you have gotten bored reading an email before. And what you do, you just delete the email, right? And then move on to the next one. And even if it was very interesting, even if it stood out, you don't want to overload them. Get them just the right information so that they kind of know what to do next. Whether it's, here, click this link, or, hey, I need you to check out this website, or whatever the case may be. Most of the time, and this is from our marketing department, Jim Tedesco, he actually told me, I don't really want them to do anything. I just want them to know what we do, know what we sell, and know the products. If it ever comes in a time of day where they need to do something, I want something in their head to trigger, oh yeah, this product can actually do what we need it to do. That's all we want them to do. So whether it's an action or not, that is the next step that you want to give them. All right, so all in all, we want to make sure that it captures attention. We want to make sure it educates them on what we're trying to portray, and we need to provide them an action if that is what you need to do. All right, so as our part, as a marketing arm, we need to create manuals, slicks, deliverables. And at this point in time nowadays, a lot of people are actually creating their 3D models through prototyping. How many of you guys actually have seen those types of prototypes? Not even at this convention, but even, your customers might even send you, oh, look at this. This is a fun little doohickey, but it is our part. A lot of people have done that, right? And most of you like to get those types of things. You like to have it in your hand, play with it, see what it looks like. It's eye-catching, and it's catching on now with the whole prototyping business. And I know this gentleman over here has actually bought just a 3D printer that I was told a few minutes ago, so you kind of get the idea. The three little pictures that you see here are from Radio Flyer. They're our customer. They actually leverage their CAD data, and they represent it on the slicks. So, and they need to be able to capture that CAD data and get it on those slicks and make it presentable as well. So that whether they use 3D rendering tools like PhotoView 360 or any other program, I'll mention a few of them later, or they actually take 3D Via and they capture the silhouettes of the image, just something to get it out there. I don't know if you guys know, but even with, who's bought furniture from IKEA? Don't be shy, it's okay. All right. Now, all the instructions on creating that product, assembling that product, that's actually marketing for them. It's not just, oh, okay, it's just assembly instructions, I throw it away. No, that's marketing. Most of the time, people, whenever you buy furniture, you want to make sure that that person can assemble it very quickly, very easily, and without so many tools. And what they do now is they even give you the tool to assemble their product, right? So IKEA's created this name saying, okay, whatever our products are, our furniture, chest, closet, whatever, everything is easy to assemble. How do you know that, right? Because of those, the information that you get, the assembly instructions. So now their entire brand of products is easy to assemble. So that's another way to even market your own products, if there's assembly required. All right? So, what are the questions that we need to ask? As CAD engineers, what are the questions that we need to ask to a marketing arm? Now, when I work with our marketing arm, his name is Jim Tedesco, we always ask, what do you need? Right? Do you need a 2D image? Do you need a 3D image? Do you need something prototyped? What does he need to get his job done? And that's huge. You need to make sure you work closely with that person. And then obviously, when does it need to get there? When does it need to get there will determine what products, what tools I use to create what he wants. If I have a lot of time, I may go all out. If I have absolutely no time, I may open a part file up and save a JPEG image. Something that simple, but that leads me down to figuring out what tools I need to use to create that deliverable, right? And that kind of hits it on the head here with these hammers. You got some tools like 3D Via, which could be represented by the pneumatic hammer. You got a pickaxe, which could be, let's say, you opening up SolidWorks and you saving out a photorealistic image. You got a regular old hammer, which you can just do save as, and then use Microsoft Paint to make sure that the quality of the image is okay, if it's something that ridiculous. Or you got God's hammer, 3D Via, something of that sort. And then making sure that that deliverable gets to that person on time. And it is, again, a very important piece of information, because if you don't, you get into this situation where you got FedEx and UPS going head-to-head, and you don't want this, especially between you and your own customer. I would think of that, right? All right, so let's first talk about 2D images. What are those 2D images? How can we get them, and how to make sure that they're the quality that we're looking for? And of course, you always have to work with your marketing arm to actually get that. Now, you have raster-based and you have vector-based. Those are the two types of 2D images that you can actually create. Okay, and I'm just going to take SolidWorks as an example. There are tons of other tools that can actually help you create any one of these two types of images. So, working with a raster image, if you're wondering why these technical terms, the raster image is just a photorealistic image. Just think of you taking a picture with your camera phone. That's a raster image. Okay, it's a pixelated image, and because you're, as the type of image is using pixels, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the next slide, it can get pretty choppy, right? You zoom in and you see these massive squares. So the image, the complexity of the image is going to base highly on what you're going to save it out as, and that's why you really need to work with your marketing arm. Video hardware companies actually use anti-aliasing. How many of you guys know what anti-aliasing is? All right, for those of you who don't, it's just the blurring of the edges to give you that false image, I guess to say, to a certain, I don't want to say false image, but it's just that illusion that you give to yourself to give a nice smooth edge. But as soon as you explode or enlarge the image, you see those little pixels come up on this, around the edges of the part. And that's what anti-aliasing is. And it's a video card option. You can turn it on or off. It's up to you. A vector image. Vector images are created through lines, arcs, splines, and that's it. So you can expand that image, you can enlarge it, shrink it, and the quality of the image stays the same, right? So that's one of the good things about that. So you can do a lot of things with it. However, if you're looking for photorealistic images of your part, of whatever it is, it's not good to go with the vector image, right? Now, why would you want to use raster images? We know why. It's a photorealistic image, right? So what happens with if you zoom in too far? This is the kind of crap that happens. You start seeing all the actual squares, and these are what we call the pixels of the image. So when you blur the edges to give it that smoothness, when you use anti-aliasing in this case, this is what you would see if you blew it up. So if you, I don't know, I'm sure if you've ever used Microsoft Paint, something that simple way back in the day, you would have seen this. And this is what they use. All right? Don't worry about the HP technical support. All right, so how do you determine what size of image this is going to be? This is something, again, you're going to have to work with your marketing arm to figure out. If you're going to make slicks, something very small, maybe a rectangular slick, or is it going to be 8.5 by 11 image, you need to know how you're going to save that image out. And once I'm going to open up SolidWorks and I'll show you exactly how you can save out the different resolutions. But when you're looking at pixels per inch, this is what you're really looking at here, or DPI for if you're printing the image out. If you're using, let's say in this case, 300 pixels per inch, this is how you calculate the number of pixels. 3D via SolidWorks, you can actually set the number of pixels you're wanting to actually save out with. So, and a lot of other tools actually also do that. If you use, I believe Photoshop also gives you that option, Illustrator, or Corel if you use that. So understand how you calculate that stuff. There we go. All right. If you're going to save out something anywhere from between 72 to 100 pixels per inch, that's a very low quality image. Imagine you're trying to print out business cards. It doesn't have to be that large. It's a very small image, and again, it doesn't have to be high quality to get that. A text document, for instance, 200 pixels per inch. Now you're talking maybe an 8.5 by 11 Word document, something very basic. You don't need much for it, because it also depends on the size and how large you want that file to be. And imagine it being a no index card size picture that you're going to be handing out during trade shows. That would be somewhere around 200, depending, again, quality. Anywhere from 300 and up, because you're not limited just to 600. If you open up SolidWorks, I'll do that in a few minutes, you can go up to 2,800 pixels per inch. So that's a high resolution photorealistic image, right? And again, the tools. Let me just bring up SolidWorks here, and I'll show you a couple of things on how to open these documents up. But I didn't talk about vector documents. Vector documents are just DXFs, DWGs. If you're a CAD user, you know what that file type is. Okay, PDFs are also vector documents. Right? And you have rendering tools, PhotoView 360, which is what I'm going to open up and just show you a little bit. Animation, you can use SolidWorks Animator. You can use 3D Via Animator to actually also create some of these images. So let's take 2D images. if I'm going to save something out, like a TIFF image, a PSD, a JPEG, how am I going to set that resolution up here? So let me bring up SolidWorks. All right, so I have this image here. And I'm just going to do a quick file save as. You need to change it to an actual image. Let's say I'll select JPEG for the sake of doing it. And within the options itself, you have different things you can choose from. Like for instance, if you're just doing a print screen, this is a very low quality image. This is just something that person, your marketing arm needed yesterday, and you need to save something out just to get it out the door. If you come in here and you select print capture, now you have the option of actually saving out different DPI, dots per inch, pixels per inch, and you can choose, like I said, all the way up to 2800. Now the resolution, the number of pixels you're actually saving out here will depend on the size of paper that you're trying to print out on. So you can choose a very high quality image here and then choose a different size of paper. So whatever that image is going to be saved out as, a C, an E, something of that sort. All right? So just keep that in mind. It doesn't scale it to your paper. It's just because you can shrink it down as well. It's just an image. Right? But if you're going to, let's say, save it to a C-size paper, or if you're going to, I'm sorry, let me say it this way. If you're going to print it to a C-size paper, you want more pixels. All right? Because otherwise, if you take a very low image and you blow it up to a C size, it's going to look really, really bad. All right. Saving out DXF DWGs, there's not much quality loss. There is nothing when you enlarge or shrink, so you don't have those options. Here's a mental note for you guys. If you're saving out things in PDF form, your customers, if they have, let's say, a PDF printer, or some sort of PDF software that can do a lot of things, it can actually take the lines, the splines, the arcs, and take that image out and put it in SolidWorks so they can actually use that data. So be careful. I know some of you think that, oh, I'll just send them a PDF of my drawing. Well, if it's a very clean drawing, they can actually take that data if they got the right software. So please keep that in mind. PDFs are not that safe. Safe enough, but not that safe. All right. Now let's move on to 3D documents. You got 3D XML, e-drawings files, you have SMG, which is the composer files, and you can create more tangible documents. And if you're going to be going towards marketing, the more tangible something is, the better the customer will like it. If I can if I can open up your website and I can pick apart your assembly, if I can select a part and be able to see it and rotate it in 3D, I am more likely to buy something like that. Have you guys went to either 3D Content Central, McMaster-Carr, or any other of these websites? When you can rotate that file in 3D right on the website, it makes you you feel a little bit safer after buying that part or purchasing that part. You know you got the right item. And so that feeling you get, being safe that you know you got it right, that is the biggest thing here. And giving that to your customer will give you more sales in that case. So you have AVIs, videos you can even put on the web. This is a very low quality thing that you can actually throw up there. If you're going to do something extraneous, do it right. But if you're going to do something just to get something out the door, use AVIs, BMPs, Targa files. If you go to, once you make an animation, whether it's an explode or something like this, where all you're really doing is making a couple movements to see how that file or how that part or assembly is supposed to move, you can just save out a crude AVI file. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can you export the file with a transparent background?
Oh, and put your own background into it. You absolutely can. Offhand, I don't remember, But let me answer that question further after the meeting. But I know it's possible. You can do anything. We're SolidWorks. Anything should be possible. Hold that question. All right. So the next step is, well, if I'm going to make a video, I'm going to make it a photorealistic video. I don't know if you have done this, but you can actually create your photorealistic videos and have it do all of this. This is a animation, but using PhotoView 360. So this is something else that you can actually do. It's not a crude image. This is actually PhotoView 360 taking every single frame that you save out and rendering it, and then that's what you're getting. All right. If this is something that you would like to know how to do, I can actually show you maybe offhand or show you a couple of steps at the end of the presentation here. So. All right. All right. The next step, e-drawings. Again, in my opinion, this is still better than not having any videos on your website. So, or even being giving your customers the ability to rotate, pick apart, see the feature tree, or not feature tree, at least the assembly tree, see what files you have within it. So you can email e-drawings. E-drawings is extremely versatile. How many of you guys have actually ever received e-drawing files? And were you happy with it? So-so, it's fine. So it's something that your customers don't need the actual software to open up. You know, you can save out an e-part or an e-assembly or even an e-drawings drawing, and you can save it out as an executable so that they don't need the actual file. It adds 2 megabytes to the file size, and they don't need the actual tool. They can double click and open it up. As you saw in the video, I think it was yesterday in the general session, you can open it up on an iPad, soon hopefully in the Androids, at least on the computer, laptops. It's very versatile in that case. And you can embed that into your website as well, just like this. This was embedded right inside of a PowerPoint, and I can go through my assembly and see what's going on there, what sub-assemblies there are. It'll highlight, do anything else that I need it to do. I can mark it up, again, do anything that e-drawings allows me to do. You have to give it the ability to measure. Usually if you want your stuff to be proprietary, don't let it get measured. So a lot of different things you can do with e-drawings in that case. All right. Now, still sticking with the 2D rendering, there are a lot of different tools that actually do render. Maxwell Render is one of the first ones that we at CATI actually started messing around with. They're great. In my opinion and in Bob's opinion, it takes a lot of knowledge to actually run with this tool. So it's more of a professional tool, in my opinion. If you know what you're doing, then this is what you're actually looking for. They have a booth in the Partner Pavilion. I suggest you check it out. A lot of knowledgeable people that'll tell you what they're doing here. And then there's also KeyShot. That's another rendering program. This one's a little bit easier to use, but it's still not as easy as PhotoView 360, which is produced by Luxology. All right, Luxology actually created it, then gave it to SolidWorks, and now you can use it. So everything within PhotoView 360 is mostly a drag and drop to create the images that you're looking for. So this is probably one of the easier ones to use that you know it already. So, have you guys seen Luxology and their website? You can actually download more appearances from their website. SolidWorks comes with several hundred, but if you go to the Luxology website, you can actually download even more. So please remember that'll really help you out, especially when you're trying to get the right view. All right. And again, powered by Moto, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but bless you, you can farm out the actual engine, the processing power using the PhotoView 360 network partner. Okay, you can download that. You can farm out up to about 50 computers. And you can, if you're going to, let's say, create that PhotoView 360 animation, this is something you definitely want to use. A lot of customers that don't have the ability to buy a $10,000 machine that has 36 cores. But if you have 10 old machines with decent processors, you can just farm it all out and let it go. And it may take you a week to do it, but at the end of the week, you'll have something very nice. So please keep that in mind, since you can actually do that. All right, now, let's see. I want to make sure I have enough time here. When you have all of this marketing information, you make it all at once. The problem is that as soon as you make it, then the engineering department, somebody in engineering says, oh crap, this doesn't work, we need to go through a revision. Then you got to do it all over again. That stinks. So how do you actually manage all of this information? How do you manage the revisions? 3D Via actually does manage all of that very nicely. Or let's just take no revision. Let's just say that you need to create certain things, and you have your assembly, and let's say you want to create this room, and you have a bunch of chairs in it. You want to organize the chairs in different locations. Now you have to create different configurations just to accommodate that marketing ability, to show in different ways. Drawing explode views, even drawings. 3D Via actually controls that very easily. All right, so you could import your CAD data. It will update your CAD data automatically. All you have to do is go File, Update, and it takes your CAD data, whatever revision, the newest revision you're on, and it will update your assemblies, all your views that you printed out, all your high-resolution images that you save out, all your slicks, all your manuals that you have that are using these images. It will update them in real time. All you got to do is hit Save As, and it will update all of them. All right, so this is just the user interface. I know some of you have already seen this user interface, but why don't I take you through just a couple of things here so that I don't end too early. And unfortunately, my mouse is not that great, so I'll do my best. All right, so I have that assembly. This is the toy truck Bob bought earlier in January, and then he got an infatuation with it, so now he has a bunch of different Legos for himself. He's a grown man. All right, so we have these different views. We can create different views, create different explode views within 3D Via, and they got better I don't want to say better, more tools within 3D Via to create your explode views than they do inside of SolidWorks. So let's just take I'll create a copy of this view, and what I'll do is I will explode this front loader here. So I do have my feature tree, my entire assembly. I have my different selections. So for instance, I want to just highlight the bucket. I can isolate that bucket. Right? Now, what I'll do is I will take this off to the side. Again, my mouse is terrible, so bear with me. And now we'll go ahead and explode this thing. So a quick linear drag allows me to drag it out. Let's just update it. And now I have my linear explode. Let me update my view here. All right. Again, it's all in 3D. I can still make more movements if I wanted to, so I'll leave this alone for now. I'll even throw a bill of materials in here when I create the next view. So let me go ahead and create another view. And this time what I'll do is I'll explode the cab itself. And in this case, I'll use a spherical explode. So now, this item is actually exploded in a nice 360-degree spherical fashion. You can't do that in SolidWorks very neatly. Okay, but within 3D Via, it's extremely easy. So now I can come, I'll update my view. I can switch between views, I can save this out, and I can now create an animation of all of these views. Let me bring up my animator toolbar. And I can drag and drop these views right into my time bar to create the different explosions. This is very crude, so don't kill me over this. So I'll take this view, oops, come back to animation, take that view, of course, everything works when you want it to work, right? All right, let's move on with one more thing. And creating technical documents, getting different styles to be able to show your designs. So for instance, I can change my image itself to represent a technical document. So again, I keep coming back to IKEA because they're actually the most successful with this, but you can actually change the way your assembly is actually being viewed to a different mode. For instance, silhouette, or just with a smooth image like you saw it previously. And you can save all of these items down to a nice photo view realistic image once you create it inside of SolidWorks here. So I'm going to update all of my views. All right. And now I can save it out as a high resolution image, and I can save out all of them all at once. And let's say I just do a quick save as. I'll put it into my, it will always ask me to update, so I'll have it update. Now I'll open up a Word document. And here's the key to having things update properly. And if you do use 3D Via and you have used it, please make sure when you insert your images, this is the way you insert the images so that they keep their reference. You always want to come into your image bank. Let's say you select the image. You hit the drop down under next to insert, and you have to do insert and link. So this way, the next time you update your images, and you open up your Word document after you've made those updates, it will go ahead and update those images right away automatically. So you don't have to worry about it. Don't just go insert, because it doesn't link it back to the original document. So one more time, picture. Let's select this view here, and I'll insert and link it down that side here. And let me go ahead and save that out. All right. So now that I have this view, I'll close that out. I'll come back into 3D Via, and let's say I add a bill of materials to this. I'll come in, add my BOM. It will pick up all the part numbers, the characteristic numbers that you need for the description. And I'll generate the BOM for it. So now I have my BOM. I can change that up, make it look a little bit bigger, make sure it reads right. Let me go ahead and make sure that this is free to drag around. I can add balloons to my document, or to my image itself. And of course, all of these characters, just like inside of SolidWorks, you have the ability to manipulate them to increase the size, change the color, move them around, link them up to a certain bill of materials that you may have. So if I were to go ahead and save these images out now, let's say to the same location, and let me go ahead and update my view. All right, and I come in and I open up the Word document. It now has the bill of materials. So it automatically updates all the views within a Word document, a marketing slick, pamphlets, whatever it is that you have. All right, so different outputs, you can create explosions. And now you can also save it out. All of those views, you can actually create them as interactive documents. You can save it out as an SVG file and also put it up on your website. So now this document is interactive. It's telling me, click here by highlighting that item. So by highlighting that item, it's now telling me it's going to go to the next view as soon as I click on it. And I have authoring tools like arrows, gives me different explodes. Because I've already created this, it's now an interactive document that can be placed online, part of the web page. And that's what I meant it by being a useful thing, making sure your customers know that they're buying the right item. Now, if your marketing personnel is good enough and you have your bill of materials show up, you can actually have create links within this bill of materials so that it takes them directly into buying that item. So for instance, let's say they were missing item 4 because that's what IKEA does, they miss items. You can actually come in here, select that item, and it will take them automatically into their cart. That's other ways you can program in your 3D document so it's nice, smooth, streamlined, and they don't have to worry about too much when they're trying to purchase a missing document or a missing part. Let's just say, take that as an example. So, different tools that 3DV also comes with, Composer, for an attachment for Photoshop. You can work through and just see what these are on their website. And the last thing I want to talk about in this case, and then I'll show you some PhotoView 360 stuff that I was telling you earlier, is the faux 3D, basically just flash images giving you the ability to maneuver and rotate your part. So whenever you're looking into those websites, like I think I said McMaster or something, you can rotate these things around just by moving your mouse, and that gives you the illusion that you're actually seeing it in 3D. So that's basically my slides. You guys want to see that other option in the PhotoView 360? Don't be too excited. All right.
That SVG format drops right into HTML file?
There is a way you can link it up, but I believe yes, it does. I don't know exactly what the steps are, but if you give Robert an email, he can definitely hook you up with that, or even talk to your VAR. It's not that difficult of a process. We teach it within the course itself. I just don't know it offhand. All righty. So now, this is what, I'm not going to do it because it takes a couple of days to do this, meaning it for the processing time, but I will show you at least the steps. First, what you would do is you'd create the exploded view. That's easy enough. You guys have done that before. Second, make sure that PhotoView 360 is added in. So when you do your save as, instead of saving out that SolidWorks screen, you would actually use the PhotoView 360 to render each frame out. All right. Now, once you do this, obviously save it to whatever file type. Mental note: if you're going to use, I would recommend you use BMP or Targa. The reason is that computers can crash, power can go out, whatever the case may be. If you use BMP or Targa, what it does is it saves all of those images, the ones that get completed, the ones that are rendered out and completed, it saves them into whatever folder you want. If you use AVI, It's either all or nothing. So hopefully your computer doesn't crash or the power doesn't go out. All right, so try to use BMP or Target actually to work with it. That was a very painful way of learning what that does. Okay, especially when it took a week to actually get the highest quality image that we were trying to get. So once you save that out, you can then use, let's see, there's actually several different programs. I know Fab DVD will take all the images that PhotoView 360 outputted, because what it does is it takes each frame and it goes ahead and renders each frame, and then it saves that image out. Then you can take a tool, what is that Apple tool for QuickTime, yes. I don't use the paperweights that they sell, so I'm sorry. I hate Apple products, not because they're bad, they're great. I have this thing, they're fine, really, it's okay. You can use QuickTime, and it will take each image, and it will put into a nice timeline and output an AVI file for you. Does that make sense? So, and just all you have to do is really just give it the first image, which has the number 0 next to it, and as long as every other image has the same name but just a different number attached, it will automatically take everything else in. It's a $30 program, but you can use it. It's pretty quick once you get the images out. The longest part in this case is making sure that it all renders out. Putting them all together, and that's quick enough. Does that make sense? So the key here is to make sure that PhotoView 360 is on, and when you save it as a PhotoView 360 render, not as an animation. All right. And a couple of other things, especially if you're saving out high-resolution images inside of 3D Via, they added this button called Compute, and that computes the average size of the file of every image. So you can figure out if your high-resolution image is going to be huge or not, and you can figure that out way before you actually hit the Save button. All right, so just come into the high-resolution image, and it's the last button, and if you hit Compute, it will tell you what the size of the file, the approximate size of the file will be per image. Alrighty, so. As long as, yeah, I think most people can only receive 10 megabyte documents. So whatever, and if it's still a little bit larger and you still want to send it, I think some people are allowed to send it compressed using 7-zip or WinZip. 7-zip is free, you can use that, so. What do you mean? If you didn't have 3D Via and you wanted photorealistic images, then PhotoView 360. Like I said, I'm not understanding the question, so please ask it. All right. Yes, sir. Yes. Well, it's the same thing, it's just another name. They went from Cosmos to simulation. That's all they're doing. At least for next year. I don't know what the plan is for 14. Because then they could make it a tab inside of SolidWorks. I'm not sure. Alrighty. Hopefully it was helpful. A couple of tips and tricks here and there always help out a lot. So